Welcome to MTG Ectoplasm, your home for Spirit Tribal and Magic the Gathering. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about a card that I suggested to Spirit players about a month and a half ago, and I'm happy many of you listened. Also, there's a minor controversy going on in D&D. And then finally, WotC did something right. Do I got you curious? I hope so. So let's get this thing started, shall we? Let's go. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on this episode. I am your host, the one and only Dwight, aka D Blanco, a medium that wears an extra large. You can reach out to me on Twitter at MTG Ectoplasm. Please follow. Also have my website, mtgectoplasm.com, where I have my short yet extensive spirit content library. If you want to donate to the show, you can do that there. Or if you want to sponsor an episode like this one, you can do that there as well. And then don't forget, you can reach out to me directly at mtgectoplasm@gmail.com. I want to hear from you. Am I doing a good job, a bad job, or I shouldn't quit my day job? And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're listening to this podcast, do me a favor. There's that follow, that like or subscribe button. Hit that for me, because I see in my analytics, everybody around the world is listening, making this your number one spot for spirit content. And I am humbled and I appreciate it, but I need you. If you're a new guy or a new individual listening, hit that button. And if you're just been here a while and just said, you know what, I like you a lot, Dwight, but I haven't hit that button yet, what are you waiting for? All you gotta do is just hit it. Just right there. It's right in front of you. Just tap it. All right? With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the beginning of the show is done. And now it's time to get to the meat and potatoes, as they say, right? Because I found that some of this stuff I'm happy that I'm bringing to you, because I'm getting a lot of emails from you and you're saying, you know what, Dwight, thank you for putting it out there. I enjoy what you do. Some of it's fun, some of it's wacky. I enjoy your interviews that you have, like with Dr. Ketz, with Peter Valco. There's some of you have gone back to listen to Tuesday-tastic. Don't worry, now that school's over and done with, I'm going to try to get out there and get the Spirit Masters like Dr. Queller. That's my number one goal. And my number one goal too also is Andre Segura. Okay, really love that young man. He provides great spirit content. If you don't know anything about him, please go to YouTube. Look him up, Andre Segura. He's a spirit master, provides some of the greatest spirit content available besides the show. And I promise you, you will be entertained and you will like what he brings to you. So, now let me get to the first topic. I brought to you about a month and a half ago. Then I was looking at how the modern meta was looking, and I saw how quickly it was just going crazy. This is even before Modern Horizons 2 made its appearance. And I was like, you know what? The mana's too quick. People are playing too quickly. And there's only one card that can actually sit there and save our back end. And that is Chalice of the Void. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Chalice of the Void. Now, what people don't realize is this card fluctuates left and right in the market, because when the meta is a little out of control, a little wacky, this card shoots up because everybody and their mother realizes, you know what, this is a card that will protect them in the long run until the meta changes. So let me begin reading to you Chalice of the Void. Chalice of the Void is XX. Now, if you think you're going to sit there and use the latest saga, Urza Saga, to find this with the 0 or 1, I'm sorry to break it to you. That ain't going to happen. It is not a mana value of 0 or 1. It's just XX. Because of that reason, you cannot fish for this card with that saga. So, let me continue. Chalice of the Void, XX, it's an artifact. And it reads, Chalice of the Void comes into play with X charge counters on it. So, for example, if you play 2 mana, 1 and 1, it comes into play with 1 counter. If you play 2, meaning 2 and 2, okay, which is a total of 4, it comes in with 2 counters on it. I know I made it, you're like, what the hell, Dwight? You screwed it up, but that's okay. Yeah, hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. You pay 4 mana, it comes in with 2. You pay with 6, it comes in with 3. You pay 8 mana, it comes in with 4. We're getting it? All right. Then it reads, second paragraph, whenever a player plays a spell with converter mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on Chalice of the Void, counter that spell. Not bad, right? We don't, spirits. I mean, we do enough, definitely with the spell queller. We do pretty good right there with the Mausoleum Wanderer, right? Countering. We do pretty well with, non-land permanent destruction with Skyclave Apparition. And then the rest of them basically protect ourselves and pumps up our spirits. But Chalice is one of these cards that really is a blessing in disguise. Now, I'm not going to say it doesn't affect us in any way, but in a small sense, it's a blessing in disguise. Why do I say it that way? Because if you look at the current meta, here in my formerly chocolatey stained fingers, thank God I just washed my fingers because I had a delicious chocolate cake before. It was delicious. In the top 6 of the top 10 decks in the current meta are using 1 mana or no mana cards. And you're going to go, what do you mean no mana cards? You're speaking shenanigans. Well, some of them may be using alternative cost. Let's say like Grief. How you discard or exile a black card and you can play Grief. Basically, you're paying it for 0, so guess what? That card gets countered. Let's say, for example, you're playing, I don't know, a Cascade deck. Oh, and you try to play a spell through Cascade. Guess what? Because you're not paying the cost of it, guess what? It gets countered. Other decks, how you're using 1 mana and 1 mana creatures, 1 mana spells, 1 mana non-land permanents. And let me just tell you, those decks are pretty damn quick and we need to slow them down. So this card, Chalice of the Void, is something that we have to have in our back pocket. Telling you right now, one of the best spear players, Dr. Queller, I know Andre Segura uses this. Dr. Queller is using 4. I believe Andre Segura is using 3 of the Chalice of the Void in the sideboard. No ands or buts about it. They're using this card. Why? Because I'm going to begin with the first deck here. Blitz. Blitz deck is, obviously you should know it's red and blue. And what happens is you got Dragon's Rage Channeler, you got Mausoleum Swiftspear, Lightning Bolt, and Mishra's Bauble. So you can have this come in on your turn 2, or, I would recommend turn 2. And why? Now you're shutting off the 1 mana. Nobody then on you or your opponent can play a 1 mana card. Now, there are exceptions. I'm going to get to the exceptions at the very end. how spirits can work around this issue. Then you have Rakdos. The Rakdos test, where you had Ragavan. Then guess what? Dragon Rage Channeler again. Inquisition of Kozilek, Thoughtseize, and Mishra's Bauble. Notice there? 1 mana cards. And 1/0. Let's talk about food decks, shall we? You have Esmerano. I'm not going to get into full diki dika bucka ducka ducka, whatever it's called. Esmerano. 1 mana. The Underworld Cookbook, 1 mana. Pithing Needle, 1 mana. Cauldron Familiar, 1 mana. Witch's Oven, 1 mana. That's 3 decks right there, ladies and gentlemen, that are in the top 10 that we basically poo-pooed with 1 card. We basically poo-pooed those top 3 decks in the current meta with 1 card. Shall we continue? Hammer Time. Hammer Time. Why? Because it has 0 mana creatures like Memnite and Ornithopter. The only way for this deck to work is what? Segura's Aid and Colossus Hammer? How wonderful would it be? Oh, turn 1. On your turn 1, oh, I will play Chalice of Void for 0. Guess what now? You can't play your 0 casting cost creatures. On my turn 1, oh, I don't know. I'll play my Aether Vial turn 2. I guess I'll pay 2 and play the Chalice of the Void. So now you can't play 0 or 1. Oh, man, you're going to have a long day. You know, I know, we both know. I feel bad for you. Thank you for playing. Living End. Living End is back. And what is this going to do with Living End? Oh, that's right. It's a 0 mana cast card. Oh, you can't play... Living End gets countered. Oh, sorry. Come again. How about that Crashing Footfalls deck with Cascade that I just mentioned? Oh, you think you're gonna bring in some rhinos to trample over me? 2 rhinos for 8, total 8 damage? No. Sorry, not happening. Not on my watch. It gets countered. That's right there. 6 of the top 10 decks in the current modern meta. And Spirit shuts it down with what? 1 simple card. 1 simple card. Now I know some of you are like, wait, listen, I don't have the funds. You know what? You're not going to save up my lunch money for these things. Or you know what? My wife, she's a little tough on me. I got to watch my budget. I understand. I'm going to tell you a slight replacement, but it's not it's a good replacement, but not a great replacement. I'm going to be sincere with you. It's Sanctum Prelate, a card that was just recently released in Modern Horizons 2. It was originally done over back in the day in some other set. I forget what it is. I had to deal with being the Monarch. But that card is 2 white and 1 mana for a 2/2 cleric. And the cleric says when it comes into play, name a mana value, and basically that mana value gets countered or cannot be played. Now the problem with that card is it has legs. And because the fact that it has legs, it can be killed very quickly with red and black. It can be destroyed easily with white too, depending on what you're using. But realistically, it has legs, not as good. Also, the fact that if you want to cast the card and say, I select 0, it sucks because you have to have 3 mana into play to play and go 0. If you want to sit there and shut down 1 mana, which you have to pay 2 mana for the Aether Vial, you have to pay 3? Not as good. That's what I'm saying. It's an okay card. It's an acceptable replacement until you can afford Chalice of the Void. But realistically and honestly, Chalice of the Void is a moral imperative for any person using the Spirit Tribe. I don't care if you're using Bant. I don't care if you're using Mono Snow Blue build. I don't care if you're doing Azorius. The masters have spoken. I'm not a master. I'll be the first person to tell you I am far from the master. I've been playing this deck since, Drug School Captain came out. And then, thank God, when Supreme Phantom came out, it became a staple in Modern. That's when I 100% put 100% focus into this deck. And I knew right then, the very beginning, Chalice was a moral imperative. It was something to have on the sideboard until the meta went crazy. And guess what? The meta's crazy. Everything's going quick. Everything's going quicker than you would expect. So if you want to fight in this modern meta, I'm going to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is a moral imperative to pick these cards up. Chalice of the Void. So let me begin by telling you, if someone is going to try to play a spell against you that's 0, it's countered, gone, in the graveyard. If you set, pay 2 mana and it's a 1 and they try to play a 1 mana spell, countered, goes to the graveyard. It doesn't stop them from playing a card. This is not, what the hell is this? The cleric of blue, white, Void Mage? No. It's slipped my mind who this spell, Meddling Mage. It is not Meddling Mage, which stops you from playing the spell. This card counters a spell. Now you're going to go, Dwight, well, how does this work? If you're going to put this at 1, basically, aren't you countering our 1 mana stuff? Maybe. And I'll explain to you why maybe. Yes. If you play this card on your turn 2, and Aether Vial is not on play, you basically countered all your Aether Vials. That sucks. Hands down. Is it worth it? I'm going to be quite sincere with you. It really depends on your board state and when you need to do this. If you realize that you're playing against a blitz deck, a deck that uses prowess, and it's going to kill you very quickly, I'll take that hit. I'll take that hit all day. I'll play up, because you got to consider Spirits is a fair deck. It plays very fair. I'll take that hit. And by taking that hit, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They're not playing creatures, more than likely, and they're not casting spells. They're basically hurt. They're twiddling their thumbs trying to figure out what to do. Now, the benefit, too, is that we are also playing Cavernous Souls. Cavernous Souls basically reads, choose a creature type. Obviously, we'll be seeing Spirit. And guess what? You tap the Cavernous Souls for a particular color. If it's a Spirit, it can't be countered. So guess what? It works against Chalice of the Void. Now, if we're playing against other tribal decks, you need to, make sure you're aware of that as well. That if they have a Chalice of the Void, they're going to be able to play creatures. They're going to be able to work around the Chalice of the Void against you. But if you're going to end up using that against another tribal deck, I wouldn't see you putting Chalice of the Void in there to begin with. It wouldn't be in your best interest to do it. But because Dr. Queller, you have Andre Segura, you have me for the last month and a half saying, you know what, Chalice of the Void is a moral imperative. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying this just to be kind. This is a card that will kick ass and will constantly kick ass for you. And if you want to be in my shout out section, I'm not saying get this card, you'll automatically be in. No. It really depends on the meta that you're facing. And realistically, the meta that's out there right now, 6 of the top 10 decks are these. They're not going to provide you that quick, easy victory, but guess what? Your opponent sees these cards, more than likely they're going to end up picking up their cards and saying, okay, I'm done for the evening. That sucks. All right. That's Chalice of Void. That's what I wanted to bring up. Now, in my second segment, D&D. There's a slight controversy that, came about 2 weeks ago. And I thought nothing of it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm one of these people that poo-pooed this controversy because I'm sitting here like, I don't know how to cheat. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a liar. I'm not a fabricator. I'm not a fabricator. I'm not a person that tells lies or untruths. I don't run amok. Okay, I don't do these things. I'm a very open and honest individual. I'll share my life with you 110% and have no fear. But the controversy has to deal with dice. And people are afraid that cheating may evolve because of dice from the D&D set. Now, I'm thinking to myself, well, how many sets out there are running dice? Well, the only thing that I've seen using anything was I think the flip of a coin, and that was it. This is the first time I'm actually seeing the roll of a dice. And people are worried all like, well, if I use a spin down, does the laws of probability give me more chances of having a higher number than a low number? Or should or should there be an official D20 that WotC provides everyone so we know what's going on? I thought it was shenanigans. And then the other day, my friend Nikachu from Nikachu MTG, the Merfolk Master, had a person out there who was talking about loaded dice. And I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, when did Magic the Gathering become some type of casino type of operation where you're going to have hooligans out there trying to cheat by rolling dice? To me, it's unfathomable. I'm like, who's going to do this? If what I've seen, honestly and realistically, I'm going to be honest with you. The only time I've seen cheating, and I've called it out both times, is when I found the player going as quickly as they could against me. And they're like, okay, I played this spell, they're moving shystily, I'm moving, I tap here, I tap this, I sacrifice this, so I have an extra mana, blah, 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 and I put out this huge creature. And then they go, your turn. I'm like, whoa. Before it's your turn, before it's my turn, let me gander at what you did. And it took me about a minute. And then I realized this person was cheating. They were trying to play an Eldrazi, which was, I think it was like 8 mana cost, and they only had 6 mana. And then they were like, well, I sacrificed this thing. I'm like, well, okay, you had 6 mana. This one provides you 7. Yeah, you're still 1 short, bro. I was like, do it over. He does it over, blah, blah, blah. Does it real quick. Your turn. No, still your turn. Let me verify. No, you're still a mana short, bro. You're cheating. The kid huffed and puffed and just said, I quit. Okay, fine. That's your call. It's probably in your best interest to sit there and do that before I call a judge and say that you're cheating. The other time is some kid, young man, I'd say in his early teens. I was at a Star City game event. And this young man was shuffling his deck and trying to get, creature, spell, land, and trying to organize his deck that way so he could play. I realized that and I reshuffled his deck So it could, where I assumed it would be like non-cheating, put it down. He drew and he kept on mulliganing every time I called him over. And I'm like, you know what? Let me call the judge because this kid's obviously cheating. I didn't want to do it. He was a young man. I wanted him to have a good time while being at this, Star City game event. And basically the kid got punished. He got disqualified for cheating. Now, those are the only times I've seen cheating. And that's with, gameplay manipulation and deck manipulation. I have never in my lifetime heard of dice manipulation. Ever. And the only time I've heard of that is if you're in casinos and, you're watching too much of Ocean's 11 or Ocean's 12 and they're flicking some type of thing to make your dice roll one way or another. I guarantee there are such things as loaded dice out there. But realistically, us playing a friendly game of Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, come on. So this is what I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. If you have worry about some type of shenanigans while playing Magic the Gathering in this latest set of Dungeons and Dragons, this is what I'm going to tell you. If you see an opponent rolling a spin down, stop the individual right away, call the judge and ask them for a D20, an event D20. So then both of you have the same dice that you can use during that time, during that particular gameplay, that's fair, and it's from neither one of you. It's neither one of your parties. So you can't say, oh, one's loaded or it's not loaded. I want you to be aware of the individual's personality. If they try to scoop it up real quick and it sounds like they're not shaking it, or they're not vigorously moving their hand back and forth, which sounds very awkward while I say it, but they're vigorously shaking their hand with the dice in their hand and releasing the die, then I would call a judge, because if you're not vigorously shaking a die to find out, I guess the most fair roll, the most ambiguous roll that you can get, then you may want to go, listen, pal, I don't like what you're doing there, redo it. Do it right. Do it fair. Call the judge over. There's nothing wrong with calling the judge over. But I'll tell you one thing, don't be accusatory. Don't be accusatory at all. If you think something's going on, go, hey, listen, I'm observing something. I don't like it. Let's keep it up on the up and up. But if you actually see cheating and have evidence of cheating, raise that hand and go, judge, get over here. My man here is doing something I don't like. It's not right. It's not fair. It's against the rules. I call shenanigans, and you need to handle this. This is above my pay grade. So that's all I got to say about that. I'm sorry that, WotC had to walk into this. I didn't expect people to get upset about D20s and spin downs. It is what it is. If you're going to roll a die, use a D20. Use common sense. Now in the final section. WotC did something right. Holy crap, right? You're like, holy crap, are you kidding me, Dwight? WotC did something correct? Yeah, they did. But I got to take you back to what they did wrong. On a previous episode, I was with my friend of the show, Peter Valco, who you can see on Twitch as Bucket Man, the number 4 ever. He's constantly on there. It's great. It's a great watch. Unique, fun, and charismatic, and comedy ensues. But we were talking about the Pro Tour and how WotC screwed up and ended up taking away $750,000 from the prize pool. They took away $750,000 from the prize pool. And let me just tell you, the fan base stood behind the pro players and lost their minds. They're like, WotC, this is not right. This is not fair. And many of you reached out to Hasbro, okay, Papa Hasbro, and said, look, we love your product. We enjoy playing the game. But what you did here, not right. It's not fair. No. And especially during this time of COVID and lockdowns and everything, no. We want the up and up. We want what's right. We want what's fair. Basically, what you're doing is false advertising, and we're not going to stand for it. The pros aren't going to stand for it, and the player base is not going to stand for it. And what happened? WotC listened in a different way. They did something right, but they didn't bring back the $750,000. What they ended up doing is that all the players that qualified for this $1 million prize that got taken down lower than 750, left 250,000 on the prize pool. They decided that 16 players would compete for that $250,000. Now you're going to go, Dwight, well, how's this a good thing? You said they took away $750,000. Well, let me explain. They decided whoever wins, they're going to get a big chunk of that money and then so on and so forth. Bring it down to, everybody gets a little cut. But each of those 16 players would receive $50,000 in appearance fees. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. These Pro Tour players that are making their way to this tournament, these top 16 players are going to be making $50,000 just for showing up. Let me break that down for you. If you're a regular, everyday individual, working individual like myself, that's $24 an hour for one full year. And they're making it in one shot. Now, I'm not saying this because I have a problem with it. No. Because what happens is Pro Tour players have been complaining. They said they want a living wage. They want to be able to live and work and breathe as a Pro Tour player. WotC realized in their infinite wisdom that wasn't going to happen, but they were going to provide $50,000 to the top 16. And guess what? It doesn't go lower. It only goes higher. If you do well, you get more money. But then I heard some Pro Tour players complaining. They're like, I rescinded my Pro Tour playership. I didn't compete as well as I should have because the fact that I didn't know about this $50,000 appearance fee. Well, let me just say one thing. I don't like to go after Pro Tour players because guess what? They're the backbone of this game. They really are. They enlighten us. They provide us strategy. They provide us in different ways to consider how to attack, how to block, interactions, combinations, so on and so forth. But I have to say this to those Pro Tour players. I don't want to hear that crap. You went to a tournament to compete. And because the fact you thought you didn't know about a $50,000 appearance fee, the chance of getting a $50,000 appearance fee. You know how many Magic the Gathering players are out there around this world that would do anything in their power to compete, to even get a chance to go to a competition just to make $250,000. And you have the gonadal fortitude to sit there and tell me, oh, I could have done better. No, blow it out your ass. Blow it out your ass. I don't like cursing, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I'm one of these people who don't do that. And guess what? That ticked me off. The 16 players that are going to be there, they're going to compete, they deserve it. They deserve it through and through, and they deserve that $50,000 in appearance fees. And whoever wins the big prize, congratulations to them. They have my support. Me, Dwight, a.k.a. D. Blanco, and MTG Ectoplasm will stand behind them through and through. Don't give me that fecal material. That makes my blood boil. Because I know many of you right now are being like, yo, I'll show up in a Spirit deck right now. What do I got to do? Is it limited? What are we playing? Standard, Pioneer? What? I'm in. But you have some blowhard Pro Tour player. Oh, I could have done better if I would have known. Get out of here. Go play a different game. Do me a favor. Go play Yu-Gi-Oh. Go play Pokemon. We don't need you here in Magic the Gathering. And I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that you have to hear me be that angry. But I love this game. I love this game with all my heart. You've heard me say this over and over again. This is one of the games that I cherish with all my heart. I've discovered some of my best friends playing this game. Many of us who have different political ideologies, different sexual orientations, different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds. And I love this game for it. And it just annoys me, a little blowhard out there. I could have done better. If I would have known, I would have made more money. Blow it out your ass. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you about Magnolia Gaming in Hoboken, New Jersey. They're on 79 Hudson Street, Suite 103, Double L, Hoboken, New Jersey. They can be found on Facebook at Magnolia Gaming Hoboken, or you can reach them at magnoliagaming.com. You can just go over there, tell them that Dwight, a.k.a. D. Blanco, sent you. And they're doing a special. If you mention this show and you spend about $60 in wrapped product, okay, you'll end up getting a booster pack of Modern Horizons 2. All right, go over there. Tell them, I sent you. It's now time, ladies and gentlemen. It's now time where I'm looking for the best of the best, the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme. And this week, you know what? We did better than last time. And I'm proud of you. All right? I want to see more of you. Now that you know about this Chalice of the Void, I'm telling you, I want to see more of you out there doing this, okay? So let me begin in historic. There was an individual that came in first place in a mono blue snow build, and it was a platinum mythic rank player. I wish I knew who your name actually was so I could shout you out, but just know one thing. If you're listening to the show, guess what? I'm going to keep on cheering you out and knowing that if it's July 6th and it's you, congratulations. All right? Now, in Pioneer, July 8th, the first place in a 5-0 Bant build, Magician Magico. Congratulations. On July 5th, a Bant build went 5-0, and it was Remf. REMF. Congratulations, Remf. Happy to see you back doing well in Pioneer. Another in July 5th, 5-0 in a mono blue snow build. Cooley 2. Congratulations, Cooley 2. So in Pioneer, we have Remph, Cooley 2, and Magician Magico. Thank you for proving that, Spirits is the best deck in Pioneer. And then finally, in Modern. That's right, Modern. July 6th, in the Azorius build, 5-0, Dr. Queller. Congratulations, Dr. Queller. July 9th, in the Azorius in a 5-0 build, guess who? Dr. Queller again. Congratulations for proving that Spirits is the best deck in Modern. So let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening to the show, making this your number one listened Spirit content and tribal stuff. You know what? If it wasn't for you guys, I would just be sitting here playing with my deck by myself or playing it online with my friends through web camera. But I wouldn't be having this much fun. So I want to say thank you for all of you listening around the world. And you know what? I'm humbled. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, remember, go out there, do what you got to do, have a good day, kick ass through playing Magic the Gathering, and make your opponent say, that's bullshit. All right? Have a good one, everybody. See you next time.